All right. To become a master trader, you need to master three things. Number one is the chart. Number two is the trade. And number three is yourself. So we're going to focus on mastering the chart in this segment. We're going to provide you with our most simple, profitable strategy that you can implement today and be more profitable than most traders out there. So what you need for this is a TradingView account. Most of you will have that already. If you don't, click down below, sign up and get it ready. And then within there, we're going to show you how the rest of the strategy unfolds. All right, so the first thing you want to do is open up a Bitcoin chart. The Bitcoin chart we're going to use is the 30-minute chart. This gives us the overview of a week. And because we are swing traders, we like to make trades multiple times a week, and therefore this chart's the most relevant. So in case you aren't there already, go through to the top left over here, click on that arena, take a mouse down, go to click on crypto, and under there, you're going to type in BTC USDT, and you look for the exchange Huobi. Now, we don't necessarily trade off of Huobi ourselves, but I've found of all the exchanges, the richness of data that goes into Huobi in terms of the size of the orders that go into their order book provides some of the best results for charting. So that's the one we're going to go with. Give it a click, and I'll bring you to that. Now, if your chart doesn't look like mine and you would like for it to look like mine, then do these steps. Right click on the chart, go to settings, change the red to green. Then after that, go to appearance, click on vertical lines, go white, press OK, and then you'll automatically see it starts to look a lot cleaner. I don't like the color red because red brings on the idea of fear, and I'm not a big fan of fear. We just like prosperity around these parts. Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, you might see some volume spiking up or down. If you want, just click on it, hit the delete key, and it should go away. And then at the top over here, you can just right click any of the noise that might be here, for example that, and just take it away. So just reduce the chart until it's nice and clean and simple. I find that it's always best to work off of a clean chart, as it helps the mind focus in on the information that it needs to see instead of all this other noise that's going on. Okay, so what we want to do is identify trend. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down real quick. In identifying trend, you are able to enter almost anywhere and exit almost anywhere and still be profitable. So what do I mean by this? When trend happens, there is a sequence that follows itself. There will be higher high or higher high points, which we'll learn about in a second, or higher formation of low points. Well, alternatively, if it's a downtrend, it will be lower high points and lower low points. They follow one another. Now, the beauty of the strategy is that if you enter in late or sell early, you're going to still be profitable because you're trading with trend. Trend is your friend. So if you decide to stay on with us, we are going to emphasize this because trading with trend will protect your capital. Trading against trend will be very risky. So we highly recommend that you don't do that. Okay, so trade with trend. Now, the next step is, how do we ascertain how to determine what trend is doing? And how, more importantly, do we ascertain what trend wants to do next? Okay, so let's walk into this basic structure of MTOPS, and from there we will build. Now at MTOPS we require a cycle to be laid down. Now, as I made mention to, we like to swing trade, which is providing multiple trades for our traders every single week. And to do so, we have a view of what's happening between Monday and Monday. So we look at the week as a whole. This is a very important component that you'll learn later on about, and something called cycles. So let's set down your first cycle. Go across to the side of the screen. What you want to look for is your vertical line. So just move your mouse down, go to the vertical line, click that, and then let's start our cycle. Now, I already know that this Monday starts on the 2nd of August. So I want to put my cycle line down, and you can see at the bottom of the screen that it's the 2nd of August, 2021 at midnight. And we're going to drop that over there. Now, to close that cycle, I want to go to the Monday of next week. So I've got a start and a finish of our cycle. So let's do that now. Go back to a vertical line, go across to the Monday of next week. I already know that it's going to fall on the 9th, and you can just back up your math by going 2 plus 7 equals 9. And you can just go to your calendar just to make sure that there are Mondays. Okay, so now you've got your cycles down. Next, we're going to put down our quadrants. Now, our quadrants are there to help us space out our turning points correctly. So what I want you to do is go back to the left-hand side, go down to where my mouse is, go down to cyclic lines, give that a click, and then click at the beginning of your cycle. Okay, so you go boom. Now it's laid. Go across to the end of cycle, and then just drag your mouse backwards until you get 4 quadrants. So by dividing the cycle up into 4, we then get to space out our turning points, and this is going to be exponentially beneficial for your charting as you move forward. Okay, so what you want to do here is identify the highs and the lows. What you need for that is trend lines. So go back to the left, go through to your trend lines, and we begin the identification of the highs and the lows in the cycles. So this over here on my mouse is about to click. That there is the high. The low that forms after this high, the lowest low that is this one over here. Okay, so I'll lock that down. Now this is the first transition between the high and the low. Next, I want to go through and mark it off. So we go from the low to the high. This over here is where my mouse is, and that over there is the following high after this one. And then we continue. Feel free to follow along and practice yourself, by the way. It's down to that low, which is a very shallow low, which now indicates to us that there's going to be a trend directional change. This is very positive for us because we make profit on this into the thousands, and it's really exciting when you get to do this for yourself. Okay, so down to that low, up to that high, down to that low. Up to that high. Okay, are you working with me? Can you see where the next might be? Now from that high to this low. From that low to the next high. Now you might think that it would be here, here, or here, there, or there. But because of our strategy and how we can forecast price days and hours, weeks ahead of time, I know from experience that it's there. So from that high, we go to the low. From that low, we go to the high. And from that high, we go to the low. Okay, so let's have a look at what we have over here. Well, these are the 10 turning points you're going to get for every single cycle that you work with. Our strategy works on all markets across all time frames since the beginning of markets began. We work with the laws of energy, and we've taken sacred knowledge, modernized it, put it onto the charts, and can now forecast the future ahead of time and therefore provide consistent, predictable profits. It'll blow your mind as to how amazing our strategy is once you really get to work with it. So let's continue. We like to mark our turning points just so that we have a visibility of what is going to come next. So to do that for yourself, go to the left again, click on the arrow where my mouse is, go down to call out, and then put that in. And let's start. So this is turning point 1, the first high of the cycle. This is turning point 2, the second high of the cycle. This is turning point 3, third turning point being a high of the cycle. Turning point 4, it's the next low. Turning point 5, the next high. Turning point 6, the next low. Turning point 7, the next high. Turning point 8, the next low. Turning point 9, the next high. Turning point 10, the final low of that cycle. What you want to do is trade with trend. And you can do that now that you've identified the direction of trend. So I want to articulate my point by going across here and finding the arrow. When I see highs moving downwards, it's a downtrend. So that high is lower than that high, downtrend. When I see lows form below lows, downtrend. That low was below that one, therefore we would assume downtrend. However, because this was shallow and only slightly lower than the recent low, we saw a trend directional change coming in, and we knew that a high had to form above a recent high, as that's what trend is. Higher high forms above the recent high, and the lows form above the recent low. So we got that low point, then that low point, 6 forming above 4, moving up to this high point 7 forming above 5, and this low point 8 forming above 6. Okay, you can see 4, 6, 8, 10, all sequentially forming in accordance to one another to provide trend direction. So if you got in down here where my arrow is and you got out there, you would have been profitable. If you got in over here where my arrow is and you got out over there, you would have been profitable. If you got in over here and you got an out of there, you would have been profitable. So just by identifying trend direction, you're going to be profitable.